Good morning. So, I had an interesting question come up on Quora, and I thought it was relevant. So I'm a divorced parent and the custodial parent. And the question was, should a custodial parent be required to submit receipts to show what they're using the child support on? And I thought it was a good question, and I do think there are certain situations and circumstances where that's probably desired or required. Um, Especially if, let's say that the child support is a substantial amount of the custodial parent's income, because that is counted as income. Um, or where the maybe the custodial parent is also not bringing in a lot of their own funds, or where maybe the judgment of the custodial parents in question, or I'm sure there are a lot of situations where maybe a court would grant that and that are completely warranted. There are also situations I think where for example mine, and I'll explain why in a minute, where that is would be laughable. Um, So to get into that, there are certain situations where the custodial parent, or the not the custodial parent, the well, the non-custodial is, I can't think of the word that they use for that, but pays a very low amount of child support, um, or um, and that would be like my situation. So um when when I first divorced, the divorce was finalized in the beginning of 2020. So I've been officially divorced for like 4 years. Um, right. Yeah. But we had been apart since like the beginning of summer of 2019. So sorry, coffee. Um, but the divorce process, like my ex dragged it out. Um, and um, the reason that I even had divorce papers drawn up was because he let me know that he was like, you just let me know and I'm free to go. And I was like, okay, you got it. Like, I'm not gonna, we've been struggling for 12 years, and I'm not gonna make this difficult, and we're gonna just get this started. And so I presented him with the divorce papers, to which he quickly like backpedaled. But I was like, no, we're done. We're done with this. So um we went through mediation. We didn't have to go through the courts direct, like in person, which was probably better for, all involved. Um, but it took a long time to like get him to do that. Like, it took 9 months from the time I think that we split up to finally um, having that finalized. So but he was not in a great place financially. And I mean, I wasn't either, but I wanted to just expedite this process and get things over with. And I was like, I'll figure things out. I hadn't worked. He didn't want me to work while we were married outside the home. So I hadn't worked in, 10, well, 12 years. So getting started again in a job was difficult. I started at the local school as a substitute teacher and paraprofessional. And I mean, just, I made per month a little over $1,200 a month. And then I worked extra, helping take care of after school to earn extra. I really didn't get paid a whole lot, which is why I didn't stay there. I liked my job. I liked what I was learning, but I didn't stay there because it's just not doable. We couldn't live off of that, especially as inflation has just risen. So given that's our starting point, my ex pays an average of he pays $200 a week for 3 teenagers. And all of these years that rate has remained the same. I have not ever changed that. And people have said, you need to take him back and change that. And it's not worth it to me. I like peace. As it is, having to make any adjustments to the schedule, the routine, like anything is like navigating a minefield. And I am not interested in, if I don't have to have it, it would be helpful, but if I don't need it, I'm making a little more now in the job that I'm at. And I'm able to make ends meet. I'm not on food stamps anymore. I was, back then. I'm not on food stamps anymore. My budget is definitely, I have a tight budget. As I talked about in another video though, that's managed really well. Like I keep a tight grip on all of that. But yeah, so that situation, like $200 a week for 3 teenagers, like that barely pays for groceries. And on top of that, like I pay for their phones and their phone lines. And the last couple of years, the school has started paying for their school supplies. But before that, I was paying for all their school supplies. I still buy all of their backpacks, any extra school supplies that are not covered by the school. There are programs I could probably go through to get, free ones, but I don't mind, letting the kids pick out their backpack. I like them to have nice things. I do. My daughter has like a bag of, it's like $300 worth of makeup that has to be maintained. And I enjoy providing that, right? She's the little diva of the house, and I like to, it makes me happy as a parent to be able to provide that. The kids, I'll take them shopping or whatever. I'm not opposed to something like to going somewhere like Goodwill. It's not out of snobbishness, but I like them to have quality clothing. I like them to look nice when they go out. I understand that how they dress does affect the way that they're perceived and the way other people treat them. And so I like them to present themselves well, clean and tidy. So when I shop for them, I shop for, fitted clothes that look nice, that are fair quality. And occasionally I even have to purchase products for their dad's house. There are things that my daughter has at my home that she wouldn't have there, because he says he's not able to afford them or whatever, or forgets to, like, like there was a situation where she was breaking out really bad, and we're still trying to like get that under control because I didn't realize we were trying to figure out what was wrong. That for like weeks and weeks, she had been washing her face with a soap that she shouldn't have been washing it with, and she was breaking out, and it was bad. Like she was burning her skin. And so we're still trying to like get that back under control. So I bought, skincare products for her to use there. And she wouldn't tell me because she didn't want me to spend money on that. But so I'm covering a good amount of their, their upkeep and whatnot. If they go with friends, obviously they get cash to go do stuff if they're going to go somewhere. My daughter has a friend that lives some distance away. There's driving required to get her back and forth. And I always make sure that she has cash to do, to go eat or whatever it is that they want to go do while she's there. So there's situations like that where like if my ex said that he wanted receipts to prove, it would be humorous. So there's that. I do think in certain circumstances, it's probably wanted, advisable, wise to ask something like that. I have seen those situations where it's clear that the mother is relying, even to support her own lifestyle, on the child support of the other parent, and may not be, entirely using all of that for the children. And in that situation, you know, it would be understandable. So anyway, that was this morning's oral question, and I thought that it was a good one to answer. So I hope that was informative and helpful. Have a good day.